Okay, welcome to the Footy Interchange Exchange. Paps calls it the People's Podcast, but there's no Papalia. It's Will Schofield, Eliza, Reilly from Coach Sports. She subbed in on Tuesday and is here with us on Thursday. Welcome back, Eliza. Even though, I like just telling you guys what goes on. We record this on Tuesday. It's out on Thursday.
Do you think I'm seriously going to come back on Thursday? Like, give you another hour of my time?
Well, the reason I say that is because there's two big stories brewing right now. Harley Reid, which we spoke about on the main show, and Isaac Rankin. We've basically been doing the show, got our phones at the same time, checking what's going on. It's 3 p.m. Melbourne time as we record this. The Isaac Rankin one seems more prominent. I can't believe they haven't announced a sanction here yet. I don't know what they're working through.
Yeah. I don't know either. Like, it can't be that hard to speak to the victim, speak to the perpetrator.
Yes.
Did you say it? Did you not? I think that's going to be pretty clear based on the way Adelaide have immediately switched from advocating for a lesser penalty.
Yes.
Like, they're not even trying to claim he's innocent. They're trying to reduce the penalty. So I think that tells you straight away he's guilty. Quickly,
I will get straight into our questions. If you're a patron, you get your questions answered first. If you want to become a patron, sign up at backchatpodcast.com.au. Just click on Patreon and you can contribute to the podcast, both with questions and with a bit of money as well. It helps us put shows like this out to you. So thanks for contributing. Thanks for being a part of what we do. These are taken from the group thread we have on Patreon. There's about 500 people in it, so there's a bit going on, but I've taken the very best from this. Dino gets his first question in. What the actual ... I think it means crap. What the actual crap has happened to the MRO? There isn't a universe in which Wines would cop a week, let alone 3. I don't want to start Will on the outcome versus action, but that's all this is. 1 step forward, 10 back, and more if they don't give Rankin 5, which is also ridiculous. What do you think about this? We spoke a little bit with David Zeta.
Well, we've been saying it all year, haven't we, that the MRO system's broken. Players are getting over-penalised for things that, would be 1 or 2 weeks in years gone by, and it just seems like that outcome overaction is the biggest sort of talking point, and I think Greg Swan coming in as footy boss has a lot to work through there.
Yes, I agree. Sorry, I'm just I thought there was some breaking news coming through, but it was not. So, yeah, the entire team have got a bit to work through, don't they? Greg Swan, Tom Harley, whether or not he has his fingers on that. I don't know. They've been canvassing clubs over the last sort of couple of days. I like Zeit's suggestion about giving the MRO flexibility to go down, because that's what frustrates people, is when the sanction is bigger than what people, I guess, perceive it to be. And that's a common sense thing a little bit, I think. I think people get frustrated with the matrix and like, this is what it is. We're not looking anywhere else. If you want to look at somewhere else, you got to pay 10 grand to go and challenge it. Yeah. And quite often they aren't getting up this year. They're not changing it at the tribunal either. No. Now let's go back to Patreon. Brendan asks, do you agree that finals games need to be weighted more heavily in suspensions, e.g. 2-1, compared to regular season games?
Interesting point, but I tend to think that it should just be blanket. Whatever it is in the home and away season, it's the same in finals. I probably am a bit of a traditionalist in that sense.
Yes. I think you can't have actions like Alistair Lynch v Wakelin. You can't have that and not be out. Like that would have been, I think, a 16-week suspension if you had played the next year. And that's the reason it got brought in, because you got blokes just punching on, well, it's my last game ever. I'm not worried about how much weeks I get. You need to be able to double that up, and you can't have blokes running out in a final just whacking blokes because they've got no consequence, especially in the grand final. But it does mean that if you get done in a qualifying final for a 1 weeker and you win, you're done.
Yeah,
that's the season over. I don't know if I'd sit with that very well. Matthew has got a question on Patreon. Would love to hear your thoughts on changing the percentage to a points differential system. Surely that promotes more attacking style of footy, resulting in higher scoring games, which the AFL clearly desires. Less confusion for fans and teams, seeing as they'll know the exact margin they need to win by, regardless of what opposition scores against them. Personally, I'd rather see a 100-50 score line rewarded better than a 60-30 score line, which of course is equal under the current system. Now, neither you nor I are mathematicians. I thought percentage was a points differential system.
That's
Points for,
what I
points
thought
against.
as well, but
I mean, that's also
I'm
a
not
good
good at
point.
math.
Well, that's a good point by Matt. So maybe a 100 to a 50 scoreline is the same as a 60 to 30 currently.
Yeah.
Which is two different points differentials.
Maybe, yeah, just that concept of rewarding attacking teams.
It would be slightly different. And yes, we would reward that. I think they've got bigger and bolder issues to cover than how we do our percentages.
Yep.
It may not be at the top of their list.
Tend to agree.
Zen on Patreon asks, what changes do the Dockers need to make for Sunday? Hayden Young is an obvious in, but anyone else? Simpson, Walker, Johnson, should Fife be sub again? How do you see that playing out? You've been all over Fremantle this year.
I personally think Cooper Simpson needs to come into that back line, and it would be a bold call, and it would be sort of not against, but like different to what they've gone with this year in terms of trying to keep that stability, trying to make as few changes as possible. But Cooper Simpson was redesigned this year to play that halfback role because of his decision making and skills, and I think that's been Fremantle's. One of their issues this year has been that so much of that attacking at a halfback has fallen on Jordan Clark. So opposition teams are like, well, if we shut down Jordan Clark, we shut down Freo's ball movement out the back half. And you're relying on blokes like Alex Pearce and Brendan Cox to try and hit 45 kicks coming up the field. Like, with no disrespect to them, you'd much rather Jordan Clark taking that kick on than those two.
That's not what they're in the team for either.
No.
So who would you drop though? You can't just add someone and have no one out. You got to drop someone.
I would drop Carl Warner.
Right.
I think he's been very serviceable this year. He's sort of taken that small lockdown defender role that Brandon Walker was sort of playing for them last year. But I just feel like they need a bit more drive at halfback, and someone like Heath Chapman can play tall, can play small. He's probably the one you could shift into that role to free up like Cooper Simpson to be a bit more attacking.
So Simpson had 14 in a win on the weekend against Subi.
Mm-hmm.
The week before, I think he had a stack of it. He had 28 touches against Perth in a bit more of a free-flowing game. So he's in decent form. I mean, he's 30 touches 2 weeks ago. I hadn't heard that before. I like the suggestion.
We'll wait and see. But I think, they'll want to try and stick to their structures. But if they really want to do something bold, I think Cooper Simpson's the answer.
I think you play Young and Fife from the get-go, and you have Neil Erasmus as the sub.
In case one of them
I think
injured.
that gives you better cover than playing Young, injures himself, already got Erasmus on the field. Fife comes on, then you're on tenterhooks basically. You could just flip them like they used to do with Mundy and Brodie. Play them 60, 70%.
Yep.
Manage their minutes. I like Steve Gravina's touch on that. I was on the Nat Fife as sub for the rest of the year bandwagon, but I think given it's a do or die, get your best players on the field. And that's no disrespect to Neil Erasmus, but Nat Fife, whether it's historical or not, I think he's in their best 22. His body isn't. Hayden Young is in their best 22. You'd rather go down firing than go, let's break glass in case of emergency in the last quarter and hope Fifey has an impact. Wouldn't it be better to be up by 5 goals at halftime and have to take one of them off?
Yeah,
I think so. Bit of feedback from last week around Snoop Dogg. Just so funny reading that out. Boy Boo on YouTube says Snoop Dogg is iconic. Young people will love it. Old people probably won't. Off the back of that, Dr. Smith says having Snoop as grand final entertainment is not unlike having Metallica at an aged care facility.
Good point.
Berksy comments, I think Paps is on the money with Snoop Dogg performing Twilight Night at the grand final Super Bowl. Prime example, at broadcast looks great in that time, and we'll slot in everyone all over the world will watch Snoop Dogg performing there. What do you got any thoughts and feelings about Snoop Dogg?
Not really. I'm sort of just like, oh, okay. Like, it'll be a bit of fun. It'll be a bit of, I guess, of a laugh on grand final day. But yeah, Snoop was literally banned from coming to Australia like years ago. Like,
was he?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the government banned him because of his antics. Record, yeah. So now he's being welcomed with open arms.
So Andrew Dillon on Friday said, I'm allowed to say this, He said there'll be special guests. And I said...
Australian artists?
Well, I said, which special guests? And he said, I don't know, but there's going to be surprise special guests with Snoop.
Okay.
So do what you will with that. Is
Doja Cat,
Ice Cube
Snoop
coming
Dogg
along,
and
Dr.
Doja
Dre,
Cat.
Dr. Dre coming with him.
I don't know.
Cat. I don't know who these people are.
Cat and dog. Makes sense.
So look, correct. I don't know. You know, whatever. Koss End has got a question and a comment. I enjoy the AFLW. My toddler loves watching sport, and we think the AFLW is the perfect family-friendly fit. So we'll be going to as many games as possible this season. Your comments on that? I mean, I sort of feel like that's a great chat. I think the environment live at AFLW is a more family-friendly one for people to go to.
Definitely, and you know the whole community venue aspect to it. Take your kids to Fremantle Oval or Mineral Resources Park, let them run amok. You can get the ice cream van up on the hill. There's good footy, and you're so close to it that you can hear the bumps and the thuds and the sort of screaming at each other. Like it's a really good spectacle, but B, the girls are so giving of their time as well. Post game, there's now like the fan zones where you can go and chat to the players, get autographs, get up close and personal. Which at Optus Stadium, you're 2 or 3 meters above them, sort of begging them to sign your jersey. So it is really nice to get down to those community venues.
We spoke about Nat Fyfe off the back of his retirement last year. I had Fyfe as number 2 all time for the Dockers. Pav I had as number 1, and then Daylight. Mm-hmm. Any challenges to that from you?
I think Fyfe at his peak was a better player, but Pav was more consistent over the course of his career.
So Loop JB says if Fyfe slotted those goals he missed in 2013 AFL Grand Final and they won, he would be almost top of the tree in my opinion. Pav played better footy in Freno's finals games in that Lion era, which wedges him slightly ahead of Fyfe in those, as well as Russ Rooster, who says, Sco, respect your opinion, but basically shut up. In my view, Nat Fyfe, 2-time Brownlow medal, he has to be number 1 Docker ever. How many other dual Brownlow medalists has there ever been? So maybe in your realms a little bit. But Ginger Ninja Plus probably sums it up best and probably agrees with you the most, Eliza. The way I see it, Pav is the number 1 Freo player of all time. He's the GOAT. Fyfe number 2, but is the best player we've ever had. He is not, had he not copped injuries, etc., potentially we'd be saying he's number 1. Would have been 3 Brownlows at least. If he wins the flag, he probably moves into number 1.
Best and greatest differential there, probably.
Okay, very good. Only one of them's the current CEO, so I'll probably put that onto Pav's resume.
Fyfe could be. He's very smart,
Yes.
Nat.
You see him going into media?
I think so. It'd be interesting because he is such a thoughtful speaker that you want to see him in those sort of long-form environments to really... Maybe podcasting, maybe there's a spot for him right here next year in the BackChat Studios.
But he can have his own show.
Yeah.
Just Fyfe's thoughts on life.
Fyfe, yeah.
I'll tune into that.
Philosophy with Fyfe.
Yes, one starts with a P. They both sound like an F. I think. Best WA-based players. So last week I said that I gave my top 5 West Coast players. Now, do I remember what 5 they were? Do I remember that? No, I don't.
No.
I have no recollection, actually.
But you've got some feedback on it anyway.
I do. So China, the side you don't see, says you can't compare Pav to Pete Matera. So a lot of people saying Matera, I missed him. So Playtime Motion Picture says, come on, Scully, Matera, 5 times All-Australian, Norm Smith medalist, should have won a Brownlow twice and almost did. 2-time premiership player. Playing in the best Eagles side of all time makes it harder to get best and fairest awards. Mm-hmm. Is all about awards and stats. So look at Peter's highlight reel. Just look at it. No one moved the ball or moved around the ground like the Roo. His speed, agility, tackling goes on and on. Apparently, I miss Matera. I don't think I even had him in my 6. I'm trying to think who would have even said.
Does not sound like you did based on these comments.
You got a 5? You got a top 5 West Coast players?
Well, besides you, obviously, gets pretty hard from there. I think
I had Ben Cousins.
Yeah,
1.
Ben Cousins, Chris Judd, Dean Cox, 3 pretty obvious ones there, and then the final 2 spots are really hard to fill.
Do you remember who I said, Loraya? You got any idea? No. Yeah, great, perfect. I'm just trying to see. I've written it down somewhere. I reckon no. People will be listening to this being like, geez, you're an idiot, mate. Like, you said this, and this. No, I don't have it. I'm disappointed in that. McGovern would have been right close up there. Hey, Eliza, that's all we've got time for on a Thursday for our questions and answers segment, the Footy Interchange Exchange. Have you enjoyed your time on BackChat and the Footy Interchange and the Footy Interchange Exchange this week?
Always love coming in here, or whether it's on the phone from wherever I am around Perth, dialing in. So it's good fun. But yeah, thanks to the listeners for the feedback and the questions as well.
Given you've had a bit of feedback with Tom Rockliff earlier on in the week, and you've said, around, could you give can you get a little bit more confrontational on Twitter? So there's a bit of a dare.
I will pick some fights. I will go after David King when he comes after Freo if they lose on Sunday. Maybe
Good.
I'll just make it me v Kingy.
All right. Yeah.
I'll be the WO person rising up.
All right. So the thing is, I've got your back. Like, if you do that,
Yeah.
I'll say that. I'll be like, yeah.
Retweet.
So,
yeah.
All right, we're allowed to swear on podcast. We're done. Thanks for joining us. Make sure you contribute as a patron if you want to do that, or you find everything we got going on at backchatstudios.com.au. We'll be pretty close to being in our new studios next week. So stay tuned to that. Check out Hayscape as well. And I think we're done. Goodbye.